Sport is ingrained in a lot of people's DNA. It is estimated that 74% of the global public enjoy it. According to sport research company BMI, South Africa's sports sponsorship investment weighed in at an incredible 7.5 billion rand in 2013 and is expected to have increased in 2014. There's no denying it. Sporting events and sport personalities are bigger, brighter and more branded, having attracted big money sponsorship deals. Sport is big business. It comes as no surprise that brands who partner with SABC Sport reap great benefits.
I think sports sponsorship will just continue to become more and more valuable. I think it's content that viewers want. People want to see live games. It provides you with a very impactful, exclusive space that you probably couldn't get with just straightforward traditional marketing. The more that TV moves into a delayed environment in terms of catch-up and you can download content whenever you want. You don't have to watch things when they're happening. People don't really feel like that about sport.
Give him deserved applause. Hashim Amla, the first South African to get 300 in a test match.
When we lose and we are hurting, we know they're hurting as well. So it's a very honored position to be in, and it means a lot to all of us.
Our vision in terms of growing the game and taking it to all South Africans would never be able to be carried out without the SABC as a partner. And we have to have cricket live on a free-to-air platform if we want to grow the game. Kids out there are only going to take up the game, be exposed to the game if they can see their heroes playing live in action all the time. And we're very, very aware of that. So they need exposure to the game to build some kind of affinity to the game. And we can't achieve that without the SABC. That's the reality.
SABC Sport sponsorships and their associated activations have proved that brands can deliver valuable fan experiences that not only enhance their enjoyment of their favorite sports, but trust in the sponsor's brand.
Sponsorships allows people to experience the brand, to feel it, rather than talking to. And I think that's just the power of sports. I think it has emotional appeal that often you don't get through 30-second ads, for example. And I'm not saying there hasn't been ads that are able to pull the heartstrings, but I think sponsorships gives you that much more of authenticity, as I said earlier. And I think people start to believe it.
I think, if you compare a broadcast sponsorship package versus traditional airtime, we've done a lot of stuff where we develop content and we actually ingrain ourselves from a credible point of view within an environment. And often you can do that in a very natural way, and that's what one of the beauties about sponsorship is. We, for argument's sake, on SABC, we did their Cooking with the Proteas with Sunfoil series over this last season, and it allowed us to show how functionally your brand can actually operate in a very credible way, as opposed to sticking your logo all over the place. So I think sponsorship has allowed our brand to actually sit within credible content.
An SABC Sports sponsorship is not just the cliched home run. It is the best way to be side by side with consumers. It's the best place to find an attention-focused consumer.
What our partnerships with SABC have enabled us to do is to leverage off their very popular sports shows that they have on an ongoing basis. So it's not just the live game, it's all the other interactions that you can find during the week to talk to people. And so you start to create a story as opposed to just going out there and delivering messages once a week.
When people are invited to come with you on a journey, they tend to respond a lot more positively. And they engage because it's real, and I think it gives people who are watching a voice.
And so by the time you get to the live event or the end of the week, you've kind of brought the consumer along the journey with you. And SABC really enables us to do that because they've got some very strong sport properties during the week that we can use.
120 minutes into the game, penalty. You are on the field. Luis Suarez, tell me what that was like.
A sport sponsorship on SABC delivers a positive difference to communities. To be seen supporting communities and contributing to the development of its youth is extremely powerful and creates enormous goodwill for a brand.
You know, I always say that I enjoy the job that I do because you feel you are making a meaningful contribution to society. Both SABC and Nedbank, we have a responsibility that while we are doing the business we're doing it in a responsible way, but also in a way that uplifts the spirits and gives people hope and belief that they can make things happen.
A lot of our development cricket pieces and what we're doing behind the scenes, what we're doing at grassroots level, does get played out on the SABC platforms, and for that we're very grateful because it reaches that need in terms of us telling the story, but also exposing again the South African public to all of the development cricket platforms that we do have in operation.
It's actually coming now.
Morning. Afternoon, sir.
Hashim, how are you, man?
The variety and scale of SABC Sport's TV and radio properties not only ensure that there is something to appeal to all tastes, but also opportunities for brands to be experienced across the length and breadth of South Africa.
So if you think about SA Breweries as a business, we are heavily invested in sporting codes which have very big mass appeal in South Africa. And if you think about SABC, they have an audience profile which is completely representative of the nation. And therefore, if you think about those two coming together, the partnerships are completely aligned.
It was quite obvious for us that for us to stretch the boundaries and increase the footprint and freshness of the brand, we had to find passion points that appeal in a much broader way. So soccer was, of course, a port of call for us as we seek to ensure that people see us as a bank for all. You know, it's changed people's perceptions about us. And we couldn't have done it on our own.
Certainly from a Cricket South Africa perspective is we've carved out our free-to-air rights, and with that they become such a crucial partner for us to tell our South African cricket story to the majority of all South Africans out there. So from a free-to-air perspective, they are crucially important for us to spread the game of cricket and help build our own profiles and our own brands, and as well as that of our sponsors' brands.
At the end of the day, you don't need necessarily to be a sports brand to be within sport. Ultimately, what you're doing is you're trying to talk to the audience that watches the sport. And Sunfall is a great example of that. They've had huge amounts of awareness over the first couple of years of their sponsorship. Whether you're a sports brand is irrelevant. It's who you're talking to, who those eyeballs, who are those people, are they relevant to your brand?
A sports sponsorship on SABC Radio is a great platform from which to bring a brand proposition to life and to connect with fans in innovative ways to create something both memorable and incredibly effective.
The combination of using SABC's TV channels and the radio stations is that you are able to talk to people in every single language that you need to, across every single part of the country that you need to, and you can tailor the messaging as you need to. But also you can tailor your messaging all the time, so you can have different messaging going out every single day if you want to. Because again, you're trying to tap into the passion and the excitement that people feel about sport. And so if you can talk to them in a way that they understand, and not just a kind of generic message, it's much more impactful.
It's not just about the property itself that is a success. What you do in that also plays a key role, and how using one channel along with another can actually make the one channel more successful. So the power of radio is when you truly understand how it can interface with other channels. You then get the biggest bang for the buck.
Tila wide. Kata! George Lebisi! 1-0 Kaizer Chiefs!
Because of the fact that a lot of our cricket, our home content is played over the summer months and over the holiday period, the amount of people we get who are offering us feedback constantly saying, oh, I was driving on holiday and heard so-and-so on the radio, or loved the radio commentary, found it really intriguing and really, you know, it just, again, it is such an important component for us in terms of telling that story of what is happening in South African cricket. Again, not just around the live content, but everything that we've got going on around those live broadcasts. So radio for us just really complements the story we put out on TV.
Peterson, thick outside edge and taken behind, so he's on his way. A second wicket falls very cheaply, and Peterson is on his way for 2. Johnson takes another wicket.
The new sponsorship focus is towards integrating brands into properties consumers are loyal to and to connect with consumers by supporting what excites them.
So the most successful sports sponsorship activation we've done so far with SABC involved is the Be the Coach campaign on Carling Black Label. The partnership we have with SABC in terms of being able to leverage a lot of their ongoing sports programs, very successful programs, enabled us to really bring that campaign to life on a regular basis. And I think the last game that we flighted live on SABC, we got an 80% audience share of men over the age of 18 who were watching TV at that time, which is quite phenomenal. Even on a delayed rugby game, you can get 3 times the audience that you can get anywhere else. If the team is successful, then people don't mind watching things again and again as well.
That is the beauty of SABC, is its ability to reach such a diverse and large audience across South Africa. And again, we pride ourselves on the fact, and it's one of our USPs in our own commercial program, is the fact that we offer live content on free-to-air.
You could easily have just gone and advertised whenever soccer was playing. Traditional 30-second TV ad. But we didn't do that. We wanted to find really compelling propositions, and you've seen it with the Guinea Bank on a team search, you know, where you are doing something that is truly changing people's lives, that is authentic, that is real. So it's unique in that way, is that it's tailor-made, it's bespoke, and everything that is tailor-made or bespoke has to be different, because nobody can replicate who we are, and nobody can replicate who SABC is. And from that perspective, you know, there's no prize for guessing that the ultimate product is unique.
People will always watch live sports. They will always tune into programs that offer the latest sport news, and they will engage with their friends and other fans on social media, unlike any other activity.
The Be the Coach probably does more for Carling when it's on than any other activity we've got going on the brand, just because consumers are so engaged in the idea, but then they're also engaged in being able to voice their views across more than just, you know, vote for your team. They can really engage with the campaign, and, you know, consumers tune into personalities when it comes to sport because they're interested in their opinions and they're interested to hear what they have to say. So broadcast sponsorships, I think if you take them a bit further than just, you know, the broadcast sponsorship of the game, can be highly effective marketing actually.
You know, you over and above your traditional corner screen logos, squeezebacks, etc., you can start to own specific components within the broadcast that are relevant to that brand. So it might be the pitch report brought to you by Rolex Lawnmowers, for example, or the tea time insert brought to you by a brand within that space, etc. So, like Sunfoil have done these cooking inserts, and I think that, again, the beauty of cricket being a long broadcast is that you've got time, breaks between deliveries, there's breaks between play. So you've got a lot more time to be creative within the broadcast for a brand to own certain components where it's relevant to them.
Sport is right at the epicenter of South African culture, and SABC Sport is the place where brands can create innovative engagements with consumers around their passion points.
It was not about fitting into an already established model of doing business. It was about understanding us, what we're trying to do.
We don't have to come up with all the ideas. We can call them in, we brief them, we chat about what the brief is, and then they go away and they think about how this would come to life best for their viewer.
So that we can ultimately deliver a product that has mutual beneficial opportunities for everyone.
Which we think works really well because it enables them to talk to their audience in a way that their audience likes to be spoken to.
And I think when you give yourselves opportunities to have conversations like the ones we had with SABC, you are giving yourself a chance to be distinct. And we've seen the success of the things that we've done, and I think we can totally ascribe that, totally connect the success to that process.